Abhi will start, Abhi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, hi everyone. So, we are all getting ready for the next set of things we are going to see regarding who's coming in the bus too. So, last week we saw some of the things that uh, other planets like Jupiter and Saturn has brought. So we know the family. So we'll skip the family now. So Mercury to Pluto, we know everyone. So someone is going to come new for this week. Who is it going to be? So we are going to see that. Before that, what did we saw last time? We saw different types of spacecraft. What was Pluto bringing? Pluto was bringing a new spacecraft, which is a flyby spacecraft. And then we saw something about orbiter spacecraft, which is Cassini, which went very close to Saturn. Whoosh, it burnt out. Then we saw about the atmospheric spacecraft, which was Huygens. So Huygens went into the Titan, sat there, thinking that it was full of methane ocean. Then it was not there as a methane ocean; it was a methane mountain. So it was sitting there silently looking at it now. So we have to go and rescue it in the future. Then it was time for a comet. So we took pictures from the comet. We dropped a small lander there. So we were looking at the comet also. So what is that? It's going to come this week. So we'll have a short review of what happened previously. So who is coming in the school bus? So we spoke about Philae. Philae is sleeping there. We had a lot of time. We had all the thought of how long it is going to stay there. All these questions were there. So after that, there was something new. Why? What happened to the other 4 spacecraft? Why are we not looking at it? Because we ran out of time. So now we are going to take the time and we are going to see who is coming in the school bus too. So after that, we had a lander, which we already know, which came from Mars. So Earth was the one who had sent it there, took the telescope, went it around all the spaces, and now it is back in our backyard of Earth. So we know it is the Mars rover. So after that, what happens? He told them that we already know about all these things, about helicopter, about the Mars rover Perseverance that is going there on February of 2021. All these things I know. So no problem. We'll skip this for now. So we said we'll skip it. So one down, another 3 more to go. So next is penetrator spacecraft. So what is coming in penetrator? What is a penetrator? So penetrator is something that is putting a hole. It's like how we make vada. So the round vada is there. In the middle of the vada there is a round hole. That is called penetrating. So making a deep hole in a new place. So who is it going to be? Where are we going to make that hole? We are going to make it using a spacecraft. And this is what it's called, deep impact. We are going to make a very big impact on another drum roll. Where is it going to be? It's on another comet. So it's called Tempel 1. So it is another family of comet from Jupiter. So this is that shape of the comet. And then suddenly, one bright light came into the focus. I was like, what is this? Why is it so bright? So then it's told us that it is programmed to do that kind of a big hole, and this is the afterglow of that big impactor that went and hit the comet. Why did it have to do this? Because it wants to see what is the amount of light that is coming back and what is the properties of the light. So last week we spoke a little about how Amma goes into the kitchen and makes different types of food using blue color flame, yellow color frame, and all these things. So they were also trying to study putting a big impact on the comet and seeing how is the light coming out from there. So that's how they are going to do. So now we are going to see what is that impactor. So okay, we'll go one by one now. So first we need to know when it was launched. So from Earth it started taking a very long orbit because comets don't go very easily, so they'll go round and round the sun and they'll get very long orbit. So it started in 2005 and it piggybacked all the way across and reached Tempel 1 at a later date of 2013. So it nearly took around 100 kilogram of mass. So what is that 100 kilogram? This is that 100 kilogram. It was full of made of solid copper. So copper is a very dense metal. So copper we also use it for cooking. Amma uses it for cooking, for making lot of new delicious items. So we took copper, we made it in the underside of that belly of that spacecraft, and boom, we sent it all the way across to the space and to hit the Tempel 1. So this was around 100 kilograms. And this was right below the spacecraft. So it went dish. It all the way went into focus and hit the underside of Tempel 1. From there, a huge spark of light came, and with that light, they were able to see what all the impact of that sensors working there. See, it's going very close. Dish. It went so close and hit the comet. So after that, it took some time. So there was another spacecraft. Deep Impact has to go because the impactor is gone. So what happens to the rest of the spacecraft? It has to do something. So what it thought, we'll send it even further. So we'll go all the way into the space, find another comet, and we'll go right behind it. So that's what they did. So they sent it across, and now it is going behind another comet called Hartley 2. So this is all the way it has been going, but from 2017 it became very silent. So it is not transmitting for the last 3 years. So sad. So we'll be getting to know it maybe after another 5 or 6 years if it is coming very close to the sun. So it went silent. Tata, bye bye. Now we have to hear it from some other day. Yeah, probably so. So that will happen in the future. But now there is another bus coming now, and someone else is coming. Who is it coming now? It has to be one of our friends, we know, because everybody is always coming in our bus only. So this is also a very close friend of us. It is Mars. Just last week only we were seeing him. Now he is already coming in the bus to the place backyard of Earth. So we said, hey, it's Mars. So we said thanks. So Mars came jumping and it said it has brought something with it. It came and it said, I'm just here to remind you, buddy. I didn't want to bring anything. Why? Because we already spoke about all these things few weeks back. Oh, did we forget something? No, it's just that we have a different name for it now. What are the other things that we saw? We have to see about observatory spacecraft and communication spacecraft. So that is the last two, right? So what is this other two? Maybe it has to do something with the gift that we got from the Mars telescope. Probably. Yes, it's right. So it is the telescope. So the telescope is also called a space viewer or a distant planetary viewer. So this spacecraft that we are talking about is called observatory spacecraft. So that is called James Webb. We saw that few weeks back. I'll take you back in time now. So 3 weeks back we saw about different types of spacecrafts that get launched into the space to observe the universe. So one of them was invisible light, one was then an infrared light, different types of light were there. So we were all looking at it and we said in 2021 they are going to send a even bigger spacecraft deep into the space, and they are going to park it very far away from the Earth, about 1.5 million kilometers, and that it's going to look deep into the sky. It's called James Webb telescope. So it's around, we already know, it's about the size of a tennis court. So this is one. We also have another thing. It is communications spacecraft. If we have radio telescopes on the earth looking at the sky, they have to send something, right? So when they send it to the sky, they have to be received by something else. So this becomes communication spacecraft. So in that sky, there are a group of satellites that we call it as spacecrafts that are relaying information one after the other. They use either radio based communication or laser based communication or other medium format of communication. So that comes to the end of all the spacecrafts. So we saw every spacecraft with an example from all across the friends of Abhi. Now what happens next? So the bus came and I was having the question, someone is coming now, because we have covered everything. What's going to happen next? Earth said, we are going on a journey. What kind of a journey? This is a journey which involves everyone. So everyone came, even sun also came. Now I was very happy. Yay, everyone is here. Now where are we going? We are going to the Milky Way in our flying bus. So, but Moon said, but where is the Milky Way? So that is the question for the week. Where is the Milky Way? So we are going to find out where is the Milky Way, and we are going to travel with all our friends in the flying bus from the next episode. So what did we see today? We saw what is a rover spacecraft that we have already covered in episode 6 regarding how Mars was explored by all the spacecrafts that were sent by the Earth. Next, Jupiter told us about Deep Impact, which is a penetrator based spacecraft which went and hit Tempel 1, and with that we were able to analyze what is that comet is made up of. Next, we were reminded by Mars regarding all that observatory and communication spacecraft. So this concludes this week's session, and we can take any questions if you want for the next 15-20 minutes. Yes, hi. So any questions? Who are excited to go to Milky Way? Everybody is excited. Okay. So we will be going very soon. Yeah, everybody. Nanu, even me also. So did you try any of the experiment that I gave you last? Yes, someone is asking question.
Like, did observatory spacecraft break down, or is it still in space?
It depends on the amount of fuel that we have put. So some of the observatory spacecraft tend to use solar power, that is using miniature motors they use to push around the orbit of the Earth. So they will be running for a very long time. Some uses nuclear energy. So nuclear energy is another form of energy which is very long. It is like having a battery for another 300-400 years. So it will continuously work for 300-400 years, but very small fuel it will be using. So some spacecrafts may be those which do not have much energy will be programmed to fall onto the Earth after some 20 years. Recently there was one spacecraft which was dropped to the Earth after completing 25 years of service. So it got retired. It was dropped into the Pacific Ocean.
How did it get dropped?
Good question. How do it get dropped? So see, every object apart from say like those that are outside of the Earth's atmosphere is acted upon by gravity of some kind. So Earth, everybody in Earth, we say I have a small paper here. If I drop that paper, it is going to fall down using gravity as a principle. So when I have a spacecraft that is orbiting the Earth the observatory spacecraft for a very long time. It is following a defined path that it is going to go for a very long time. After, when the fuel goes down, it does not have any external force to stop it. So if I have this in my hand, it is going to stay there, but if I drop it, it is going to mean that the gravity that is going to act upon the earth will going to work on this, so it is going to fall on towards the surface of earth. So they will turn off the engine, or the fuel will run out, they will turn off, so earth will automatically pull it inside using gravity. But worst case scenario, what they will do, they will make sure that it will only get dropped on the ocean, not on the Chennai sky or Vellore sky or Bangalore sky or in the US sky. Because if it gets dropped in our hometown, we will all have to go to the sea to live, because we will be very, very big. It will make a lot of fire, lot of noise, it will make a big impact. So they will drop it in the ocean.
Do all planets have poles on the corner?
Yes, most of the planets do have. Only those that do not have, what do you say, metallic core doesn't have a pole, because the only astronomical object, that is sun is the only astronomical object which has more than 2 poles. That is, it is comprising of more than 7 or 8 poles, which it changes sometime. Most of the planets have at least 2 poles. There are also planets with more than 2 poles, that is it's a Doppler magnetic property that we will cover it in a different place. We will cover it when we come to exoplanets. There is another topic we will cover later. Somebody is doing exercise.
Hey Aryan, you're sleeping and watching, huh?
How are all the classes, normal classes, how are the classes going?
The question is to whom, Abhi?
Everyone who is here. How are the other classes? Very boring.
How do planets get their color?
How do planets get their color? Okay, that is depending on the composition of gases and solids inside. Earth is made up of nitrogen and about 3/4 with water. So nitrogen on the accumulation level, it will go higher to the color of blue, and Mars is made up of iron and very, 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 very thin amount of carbon dioxide, so it goes into the spectrum of red. Sun is made up of hydrogen and helium, so it is into the spectrum of yellow or white, bright white. Neptune, again, it is made up of sulfur, many gases of nitrogen, so it also boosts into the spectrum of blue. So every planet has its color based on the composition of gases and metals and materials in its atmosphere and its surface.
So any other questions?
No, sir. Tired, sir. Very tired, sir. Okay.
Harshini, any question?
So I will ask you one question. If you like, I like to see how would you remember. Can anyone tell any one moon of Jupiter? There are 4 bigger moons. You can name any one of the moon. I will give you a clue. Whenever you get hit by your toenail or toe by a very big chunk of rock, you will say ah, and then you will say that word. Or
Europa.
when you drop, okay, Europa is good. When you drop something, you will say that, "Ayo, I dropped something." Oh yeah, I said that word. Okay, what is that name?
Io.
Ayo, yes, Ayo. So Ganymede, Callisto, Io, and Europa. So congratulations, someone said the right answer. Europa and Io.
Very good, Samyukta.
And can you tell what is the moon of Mars called? That potato and
No, I won't tell.
that potato shaped and irregular shaped, tomato shaped. They are sons of god of Mars. I mean, god of war.
Deimos and Phobos.
Yes,
Deimos and Phobos.
Deimos.
Phobos.
Not,
Phobos.
not Phobos. It is Deimos and Phobos.
Phobos.
Phobos. Okay. What else?
Aryan, where is Sana? She's doing something else.
So, who is your favorite character in all these 12 people? Pluto. Okay.
Just mine.
Pluto's moon. Okay.
Moon.
Jupiter.
Moon.
Jupiter.
Jupiter. Okay.
Jupiter.
Okay.
Moon.
Okay. Moon is also cute. Okay. I'll try to find more importance for moon. Okay. Who is the Earth? Okay. Who is the one who spins in opposite direction to Earth?
Moon.
No, not around the Earth. Opposite direction of the Earth. So, Earth rotates from east to west. This planet rotates from west to east.
Venus.
Ah, yes, Venus. Correct. Sun has multiple orbitals, so it doesn't follow one thing. I'll tell you about the
Very
sun
good,
later.
Samyu.
And
What?
which is always very cold, always freezing.
Neptune.
Neptune.
Okay, Neptune.
Neptune.
Okay, which one does on the belly roll? Which one does in belly roll all the time?
Saturn.
Uranus.
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 And
Why is Deimos and Phobos in peanut and potato shape?
because they were both asteroids which were captured by Mars gravity. They used to be asteroids circling the orbit between Jupiter and Mars long time back, but Jupiter bumped it and it got into the inner solar system, and Mars was always there. So Mars said they were only very close to it, so it got into the gravity. See, a moon is something. A moon or a satellite of a planet is something which shares the gravity of the parent planet. So for Earth, it is very very weak. So we are very fortunate to have a moon that is about 1/3 of the size of the planet. So it is, say, if it is in the size of a apple, so moon is something like it is in the size of a lemon. It's a very 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 equally proportionate to that size. So what happened a long time ago, some many billion years ago, there were a lot of chunks of rock floating around. Due to gravity of the sun and the rocks floating around, they got hit one after the other. So and they started growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So this evolved into either a planet or a chunk of rock called comet, or even broken down chunks of rock called asteroids, and even very very small broken down chunks of rock called meteors. So somewhere or another, they all made into a big pile of sand or big pile of rock, and they formed into a very spherical shape, and they got the help of another planet's gravity. So Mars got two, Mercury doesn't have any, Venus doesn't have any, Earth has one, Jupiter has around 92 93 moons. Jupiter is biggest, so that is got more moons. Saturn, it is being still counted, but somewhere around 50 or 60 moons are there. Uranus and Neptune, they are still trying to discover it, but there are somewhere around 40 30 moons for each planet, because they are very very massive planets, and all of them have a very big support system of gravity. So when gravity acts, everything that is going around will come close to it. That is the way in which we are also sending spacecraft. So when we are sending spacecraft far away to take photograph of Pluto, we are not putting lot of petrol, diesel or fuel into it and starting to send it. So what we do, we will send it one time across Jupiter. Jupiter will catch it, then it will spin it around for 3-4 times, and it will then throw it away. So with that, gravity is a very big contributor for even sending spacecraft.
Are asteroids colorful?
Sorry?
Are asteroids colorful?
They are in either three colors. They can be a metallic color, that is silver gray kind of color. They can be corundite. Corundite is something like, okay, kind of orange and maroon color they can be. Third one, they can be somewhere around the color of black, very dark black color. Asteroids, they can be in these three colors. Oh, you want to see multicolor asteroid, huh? There is no holy festival happening in space. All the colors are already taken by Jupiter. Jupiter has every color in the world. Jupiter has almost every element in the space. So it has got lighter elements like gases, and even heavier elements like iron, cobalt, nickel, everything. So every color forms a different shades of Jupiter planet. So you can see Jupiter has yellow band, orange band, pink band, brown band. Every color in it is having there. Jupiter.
Abhi, I think Tanyashri mom, she wants to give some suggestion, it seems.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, what do you want to give suggestion, ma'am?
Shall I say now or after the class, ma'am?
Anything is fine. Anything is fine.
Okay, sir. Actually, the way you're explaining is very good. The problem is like they are asking. I don't know about other students, but Tanya, she's asking a lot of questions, but she's not listening to the answers given by you.
Okay.
So, like right from the beginning, they have watched a lot of videos. Like today, only I'm observing the whole class.
Okay.
Like you have started asking questions to the children. So, if it is going to be on a regular basis, no.
Okay.
So at least they will try to respond back to you.
Sure.
Or else
I want
it's
to
not
be
becoming.
I want to be more interactive with the children, but the time constraint is the big problem, because 30 minutes I have to compress everything. So children also
Yeah.
need to interact. So I was thinking probably if next opportunity comes, we can extend it to for 1 hour. But it depends on the children's interest. If they are okay with it, I'm fine.
Since there are mixed age groups of people, like for the elderly people, it will be fine. But for the other kids, at least we can have some small, and maybe you can ask them to talk about what you have learned so far in this lesson. It has been a month, right?
Yeah.
So maybe in one class, last 5 to 10 minutes, you can ask them so that they will just listen to what you are saying.
Sure.
Whatever I have observed from Tanya, I'm telling.
Okay.
All valuable information what you're giving, no, it's not reaching to her to the full. It's not to the full. At least at this age, they can grab something. No, that's what I feel.
Ma'am,
Sorry if I'm wrong.
It's not a problem, ma'am. I also feel very understanding of this issue, because children are usually very restless. They are not very interested to sit in front of monitor or a laptop to watch very long time. So I encourage them to be interactive. If you can utilize their time to send any audio clips in the group, I will respond to the questions there also.
Yeah, maybe that also we can do. So if you give some questions, we parents can record the answers, whatever they say, and we can share it in the group also.
I will,
Maybe individually, whatever they have understood, they might share with us. Right?
I want most of
One
you to become astronauts in the future. That way, I
very
will get
happy in
even free
asking you
pass.
questions. No, they are very happy in asking you questions.
Yeah.
But but when it comes to them to be in the answered position, only they'll get to know. I just want her to listen something, whatever is going on.
Sure, definitely.
Maybe I think I have to sit because all the points, whatever you're giving, no, many facts are not known even to us.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the suggestion.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, children, if you have any question, you can post it in the WhatsApp group. Okay, or else you can have all the questions for the next. Lakshya, you can post.
Fine.
Okay, yeah. Abhi, thanks for your response and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Abhi. Thank you, kids. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a workshop from 10 to 1. Okay, we all are waiting. And today we have a orientation program at 7:30. Okay?
Bye.
Thank you, Abhi.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, dear. Bye.
Ma'am, today we have ma'am.